Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Wednesday, April 5th, 2023. A very light day in terms of volume. It did pick up towards the end of the day, but for the better part of today's session, the volumes were light in both the S&P and in the NASDAQ. I'm going to start here in the S&P and first do a quick review of the account and then update just kind of the situation. The markets did decline for most of the day. And I was looking for a continuation or just to put in a C wave down to complete this minor fourth wave right there. And so I did label the 3, put in the 4 now as I felt it's completed, came right down to support at the 40, actually, it was 98, 96 into that area, and the low today was 40.96. So it came in, smacked it, and then rallied up off of it. So I felt that it was a nice clean ABC. We're going to keep our eye on this because this is a 4-hour chart, because I wanted to show you that this is the beginning of the intermediate C wave, which will then complete a larger B wave up here at the top, where the top comes in. Get to that in a minute. So within it, it'll be 5 waves of my minor degree. We have 1, 2, 3, and now 4, so we should be in a 5th wave. Now, the other side of that coin would suggest that that completed the move. But if that's the case, while this drop did kick in a little bit more today, it's not thrusting, which is what I'd look if it had just completed a triangle, and it's not rejecting, which I would expect if that high was going to be of any significance in terms of sellers coming in, liking it, and we're now heading in the other direction. So technically, I'm going to call it a 3rd wave. But if it is complete, we need to start breaking down and eventually get ourselves back below 40.50. So again, today we got to 40.96, so we'd have to drop an additional 50 points to basically start to put the completion point here, and the next section or the next waves down come into play. Now, technically, I'm counting as 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in a 5th wave. Taking it down to the hourly chart, and we get a little bit more granular look at how this all came down. Not a bad rally, not super impressive, but good that they did bring it back up 9 S&P dollars back up here, and it was up higher, but they kind of sold off a little bit in the after hours hour. But I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt that this 4th wave is in. Now, again, as I said, our choice would be that this would end up being the 5th. Somehow we got a 3, 4, and a 5 all coming into here. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're putting in a 5. I'd still have to carry it forward because that just means that either it's going to be a wave A of 4, and 4 is going to be a zigzag, but it can't take up too much time because actually it can't go below certain levels, and that's going to be over here. And I would start using it there, so not too much lower before it breaks the pattern, and then we have to conclude that that completed it. But that is not, that's on the S side, okay? And what's going to dictate that that's likely what is in play is if the market were to drop, break below the 200, which is at 40.83 right now, and then 40.70, and then starting to break down into the 1st wave, which would nullify it as a 4. And then we'd have to work this back to a 3, 4, 5. Right now, not the deal. So bringing this back in, bringing this down. If I'm looking for a 5th wave, first of all, it needs to get itself above these moving averages right there, and that is the 20 and the 50. And basically, they started to invert today. They need to re-invert, putting the 20 above the 50. The 8 and the 4 will do so. If we get a decent rally going, they will turn, come, and bypass both. And then we start to get back into alignment for this thing to finish the move which would take it above that high that we saw. Now that would be the count as it is right now. Understand that it is the market that's going to determine for us if that's going to be the path. It is now being suggested, but the market may go down, nullify the whole position, and then continue to move lower. Right now, if it stops and we get the rally, we start to break here, it will give support to a continued move. Now, again, tomorrow, it could happen with a little bit more ease to the upside because we have the holiday weekend. And today was light volume, which accentuated some of the moves to the downside. When they had a stronger sell order come in, then it moved more freely. So again, if that reverses and the pressures to the upside, with the absence of those types of traders or that other side of the trade, the market can move very easily and it'll be light volume. So the sellers would space themselves out. And that could provide a little bit more ease for an upwards move. And that's what we'd be looking for. So it's going to form the minor wave 5 will form 5 waves of its own. And here are the fibs coming back up. The first one is a very low level. It'll only cause a pause. And that's at 41.54. Then we have 41.76, which has been long-standing, but that's for the larger C wave. And then we have 41.88, 42.16, 42.44 is where wave 5 would be 618 times the length of wave 3. And that is actually common in a 5 wave and an impulse to finish 618. Then we have a larger 618, which is for that larger C wave, and that comes in at 42.55, and then we have 42.64. Now that is still possible because we'd be in a 5th wave up. But to be honest with you, I would not be looking for that tomorrow. We could also find that tomorrow just kind of closes right pretty much where we are, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower. Right now, when I look at, I think 41.25 is high on the list for tomorrow. And they could get it and just kind of fluctuate it there. Again, remember, it's the day before a holiday. So a lot of traders will maybe take that extra day, or they've been gone all week. So again, pre-holiday trade. But I'm looking for upside. Again, the downside targets would widen. Right now, this is what we have. So if it starts to break down, remember I kept saying that rejection, really, they start to, out of these high levels, they just fall. So our high was 41.76. We're still above 4100. Sincere rejection would take that 76 points and just toss it out the window, break down into the next comfort zone, which is 4,000 to 4,100. That's the next comfort zone. This kind of hung out for a day and a half, and then it comes back. So both sides are viable, both sides are possible. Right now we'll look for the upside and see how that builds. In the NASDAQ, it is also a little bit more difficult, but I brought the third, put it in all the way up here, and this still being part of the 4th, but not of a 5th wave. So I extended wave 3 one more time, and now put in this, which does fit as a 4th wave, because there's wave 2, and it's coming down to perfect 0.236 retracement down to 13,021. So I put the 4. That would suggest that the NASDAQ also has an additional rally to put in. So I'm going to go ahead and take off where this would be for the decline. And if it is complete, right, there was still one other number below 13,000, which I don't necessarily want to see it because that would turn this possibly a little bit more negative. So in any case, right now, I'm putting it as the 4. Let's take a look at what we would look for in a 5th wave. Again, the fifth wave on a Fibonacci basis is compared to the third. So let's put that marker in. And right now, it could be a decent rally. The first stop would be back above 13,300, and it's 13,308. That'll find some resistance there. And then we have the high at 13,352. So that would be another level, probably between that and there. And then once we can break it, then we really rise pretty quickly, 13,494. So we do 100 points right there, pretty much. And then 13,645. The 618 is 13,796. Now, these are technically possible, but we all read the headlines today. We all know what's going on, and we all see what companies are now starting to do. They're already putting out forward guidance for earnings. And I saw a bunch of them today. Now, whether they have a negative or a positive effect yet to come, the biggest one that I saw, because they had the most recent jump to the moon, was Lululemon. And so today, the company itself is adjusting their forward guidance. And so the stock ran substantially on their earnings just recently. So I'm finding that very interesting. In any case, will it make it? I don't know. Could it be over? Yes, it could. It really can. Again, it would be a stretch, I'm going to say, but it's not impossible. It truly isn't. So, but right now, giving the benefit of the doubt to the markets that they still have one more to go. But here again, if we may get another little drop, but the market needs to start to hold here. And that was 236. 382 is down. And it literally, let me just put that back so that we get an understanding. If indeed wave 4 is to come into play here, let me open this up. That's the B, 1, 2, 3, 4. If we're still in that 4, then I'm just going to put up. Final retracements from pretty much the same level, low to high. Okay, so the next stop is 12,822, and that's 0.382, and that would be up wave 3. Can it do it? Sure. Brings it down into the fourth wave of one lesser degree. It all fits. And then still launch. So again, in both markets, we can see additional downside tomorrow and still live to tell the story that the markets will rally next week. So where is that point where it becomes invalidated? It's actually pretty far low if I'm considering that 4 can't overlap wave 1, and wave 1 is way down here. But to be honest with you, if it started to break below 127 or 12,700, I'm going to be like, well, I don't know. That's getting pretty big. And this is turning to a much more serious 5 waves. So yes, the structure is going to remain important, but it does have room to continue to come down. One more, I can just set it up so we can put additional fibs on limitations. So if this is wave B, AB, and then we're doing a C inside the fourth wave, and I'm going to bring this back down to the hourly so we actually can see it a little bit better. Then coming back down, we have pretty much sailed through everything. So you can see pretty strongly. That's still an A, and that's a nice C wave. A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So how far down do I want to take this before it stops looking like a fourth wave? But this was irregular. It has to be. So it's already surpassed that by a fair amount. So yes, I want to include in the discussion that the NASDAQ is done as well. There's that possibility. Go away. So it does exist. Let me go back up and get rid of some of this. If this is all done, and it's going to go surpassing all this, we get the 5, then what are we looking at? Well, we have a few points here that were resistance on the way up. They should be support on the way back if we still have additional. So again, we're at a level where we should hold for this to remain in effect and for a rally. If we get another strong down day tomorrow, it will put it into jeopardy. But I can't tell from here. And the buyers do show up, but the selling was fairly consistent, and they got out. So we'll see. Now, right now, if I had to call, I'm going to say that it has to break below 12,700 to really start to push it towards nah. And then I may have to back it out even further to really go and look at what it is. Right, because we're still playing with a primary. So is it really just an ABC and that's only the intermediate A? And we do a B wave and now we're going to go back up again. So this thing could just lag on. And I don't want to go there, but I'm just saying what's part of the reality could be. So, but right now, downside, if it starts to break below 12,700, it's going to lean very, very heavily that this whole rally phase is over for right now until we come back down and at least test 11,800. So it can put a little bit of parameters, right? So that if we start to break, then I'm going to be looking when it starts to go for that. And then we can figure it from there. But right now, I'm looking for this 4 to put in a nice bottom. Again, tomorrow, pre-holiday, if the market's going to move directionally, it's going to be thin. Either direction, it's going to be thin. So we need to bear that in mind also to the downside. But breaking down technically is breaking down technically. So I'll talk about it should it occur. Right now, let's give the benefit of the doubt that there's still additional rally to do to finish the primary B wave. Because the other side of this is if it starts to go down from up here, it could complete and it would not break any rules and the structure could work. But it's spelling a primary B wave completion point. And then all of this rally is going to get caught up and getting slaughtered because the true break lower should eventually end up with a clean smash through of 10,700. Now, I know I'm talking like this and many of you don't like it, but I'm just saying not tomorrow, not next week, not the week after, but it should progressively just work pretty strongly lower and eventually break that level according to the degree of the wave pattern. So that's where I'm coming from. Right now, we're considering that there's additional upside to do. And our levels are very clear. And once again, 14,000, not technically out of the picture yet. So we're still running on that C wave equals the A wave at 14,168. We saw how quickly they ran it up last week. Why can't they do it again? So again, good start, finish. We have our weekend, come back on Monday and continue. That could very well happen. Moving average wise on the daily, still pretty good. 50 is rising, getting ready to cross above the 200. It could stop right there if this is all over, and that would be that. So it's not like we're getting that confirmation, but it looks like it's getting ready to. Everything else still remains in pretty good shape. On the hourly, we're coming down. We've been testing and wrestling with the 200s for most of today. So again, that remains in play, and that could turn negative as well. All right. I am going to leave it right there. Tomorrow is a full day. Friday is a holiday. I will make an update tomorrow should something have really strange happen to the market one way or the other. If not, then the next update would be the big picture update, which I will include, of course, what happens tomorrow on the big picture update, which would be on Sunday, the 9th of April. Also, it's a market holiday on Friday, but it is not a federal holiday. So the unemployment situation will be coming out at 8:30 Eastern on Friday morning. The market will be open in Globex, but I suspect it'll be extremely thin. So reactions off of that number will be dramatic, I think. So that's the heads up. In the meantime, everyone, please enjoy your holiday weekend and relax, enjoy family, and you'll hear from me again on Sunday.